Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, titled Knowledge of the Absolute, verse number 8. Okay. Would you like the Gita? Chapter 7, verse 8. Okay. Rasoham apsukonteya prabham si shashi suryayo pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake parusham nishu. Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake parusham nishu. Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake parusham nishu. Would you like to have a go? Would you like to have a go? No? Just one. Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake parusham nishu. Prabhu? Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake parusham nishu. Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake parusham nishu. Yay! Thank you. So translation, actually we'll do word for word. Rasa, taste. Aham, I. Apsu, in water. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Prabha, the light. Asmi, I am. Shashi Suryayo, of the moon and the sun. Pranava, the three letters. Aum, Om. Sarva, in all. Vedeshu, the Vedas. Shabda, sound vibration. Ke, in the ether. Paurusham, ability. Nrishu, in men. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and the sound in ether and ability in man. If we can do repeat after me. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. Purport. This verse explains how the Lord is all-pervasive by His diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by His different energies, and in this way He is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by His all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in His eternal abode, is perceived by His all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because a pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for His kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achintya Bheda and Abheda Tattva, simultaneous oneness and difference. The light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahmajyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. And Pranava, or the Omkara, transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord. Because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by His innumerable names, they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkara is a sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of Him is bondage. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamascha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhyubhe Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shabbat ki jai. Thank you for joining us today, both in person and online. Apparently, I don't think they can see us, but that's fine. That's good. That's good. But yes, please bless me that I can speak something which is of meaningful use to everyone, including the kids and everybody online as well, and that is purifying for especially me. And also please pray, because I always forget this, that this is not me giving the class, this is Vyasadeva speaking through me. I'm just an instrument for Vyasadeva and Krishna and Srila Prabhupada's words to come and enlighten us all. So, I'm just going to read the translation out again. So, chapter 7, text 8 of Bhagavad Gita. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. So, I'm not sure if you know, but recently I left the ashram, right? So, yeah, it's been a couple of weeks now. And there's two main questions or points that really come up whenever I speak to somebody. The first, I'm sure you can guess, like the types of people that would ask this is, oh, nobody's seen God, nobody's seen Krishna, so how can you believe that Krishna is real, you know? And the second, especially from the devotees, how does it feel now that you've left the ashram, and how do you overcome the Maya, the onslaughts of Maya? And I think today we'll talk about that a lot more and actually answer those questions through just this verse. So what is Maya? Any thoughts? Anything that's not Krishna. Anything that's not? Spiritual, okay. So is this mic Maya or is it spiritual? Spiritual. Why? Good. So one definition that I really resonate with Maya is that which is not associated to Krishna. And if we think about the whole question of, okay, nobody's seen Krishna, nobody's seen God, then in chapter 7 itself, these verses, Krishna is basically telling us how we can see him, just through looking at the world, starting from 7.8 all the way until 7.12. And I think I'll just read through the translations. Won't ask you to repeat after me. Okay, so 7.8 we just went through. So please, 7.9. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat and fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Text 10. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existence. the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Text 11. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjun. Text 12. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. Just this last text, text 12. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. That which is not Krishna, definition of Maya. That which is not spiritual, as Aryan said, right? So how can anything not be spiritual? And as you right said, Prabhu, it depends on how we use it. So one verse that really comes to my mind as well when I was going through and preparing for this class and that I came across is from the Brahma Samhita. So I know there's a lot of scholars out there who like verse references, so it's Brahma Samhita 5.38. Primanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hritayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adipurusham tammaham bhajami. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shama Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. So the key aspect of this verse is bhakti vilochanena, which means with the eye of devotion. So bhakti is devotion, and vilochanena means with the eye of. Santa, pure devotees. Sadeva, any guesses? Sadeva. Eternal. So, yeah, always, basically. Hridayeshu, in the heart. Vilokayanti, sees. So if we put that together, so with the eye of devotion, bhakti vilochanena, Santa Sadeva, the pure devotees always, what do they always do? Vilokayanti, see. Hridayeshu, in the heart. So with the eye of devotion, the pure devotees always see in the heart, who? Shyama Sundaram. Shyama Sundar. So here we have pure devotees, another verse, another reference in our cultural texts that tells us how devotees see Krishna. Pure devotees see Krishna in the heart. Now the question is, okay, I'm not a pure devotee, how can I see Krishna? Right? That's like the biggest thing. I'm not a pure devotee. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about people joining in online. But I'm not a pure devotee. I'm struggling when I'm doing my japa. I'm still struggling to try and even focus on Krishna in a dative form on my phone, let alone Krishna in the heart. And recently, I was also watching some lectures online about how to improve my japa, believe it or not. And even there, Satyananda Maharaj was referencing how we should really try and focus on Krishna in the heart. He's sitting right next to us. We as a soul are in the heart, and this Krishna as a super soul is right next to us. But we don't have the faith, we don't have the trust to see that. Okay, fine, I don't have the trust, I don't have the faith, but I want to develop that trust and faith. How do I develop that trust and faith? Well, there's multiple ways. We could see, okay, maybe we just try and, force ourselves, okay, Krishna's in the heart, Krishna's in the heart, Krishna is in the heart. And I've tried that, and it's not really worked very well for me. So I still struggle. So now we come to these verses, where Krishna is basically saying how we can see him all around us. We all drink water, or a variation of water. He's saying here, I am the taste of water. We all look with our eyes, whether it's in the daytime or in the nighttime. Well, we can't see in the daytime without the sun, and we can't see at nighttime without the moon. Okay, we've developed artificial light, but let's be honest, artificial light came from somebody's idea of, oh, there's a sun globe, there's a moon. They're giving off light. Why can't we create something that gives off light? You know? So again, whenever we open our eyes, the first thing in the morning, what do? We open our eyes. And we can see things. Imagine if we couldn't see anything when we opened our eyes. What would that be? How would you have a bath? Exactly. How would you go to school? How would you play games? How would you play with your brother? We need sunlight to be able to see. And that, Krishna says here, the light of the sun and the moon is Krishna. So whenever we drink water, I've got a bottle of water right here. Whenever I drink it, simplest thing I can do is, okay, yes, Krishna's in the taste of water. Right? Whenever I'm looking at you, looking at anybody, when I go home at night, when I'm driving, I still need the moonlight. The headlights are not usually enough. We still need the moonlight. I can remember, yes, it's because of Krishna that I'm able to drive home at night. Okay, so Krishna's the sunlight, Krishna's the moonlight, Okay, cool. So there's no Krishna being, is there? There's no Krishna being. He's just impersonal. He's just a taste of water, This is Krishna, this bottle's Krishna, this mic's Krishna. I have a Samsung phone. I quite like it, This is a Samsung phone. Samsung is really cool, Samsung. But what we fail to recognize is that behind this Samsung phone, there's a Samsung company with Samsung employees that created the Samsung phone. They came up with the idea, they came up with the design, and thus I have something tangible, which is a Samsung phone. So when it comes to God and energies of God, why do we disassociate the aspect of, okay, there's something tangible, I can see it, I can feel it, I can touch it, I can experience it. Okay, no, there's no being behind it. Why is it that when we look at material creations by man-made objects, we're always so sensitive about, oh no, there's somebody behind it. We look at a painting, there's a painter behind it. We look at a really amazing design of the building, oh, there's a designer behind it. We look at, anything around us, clothes, oh, there's a fashion designer behind it, Nobody asks, oh, that's a really cool jacket, that jacket is just amazing. No, they go like, okay, that's an amazing jacket, whoever created it is also going to be like really good at designing, So why do we devoid all these objects, all these natural things that we have, sunlight, moonlight, strength in man, taste of water, all of these, why do we devoid a being behind it? That can't be logical in any sense. We look at mountains, a lot of us like to go on holidays. We don't ever go to holidays to the city where we're, in the midst of like traffic, car horns beeping. Do you like going to busy places in the city? Like for a holiday? Or do you like going to fun fairs? Or do you like going to sightseeing, mountains? Do you prefer city life or do you prefer fun fairs? Fun fairs. What's amazing about fun fairs? Rides. Do you think the rides just happen to be there, without anybody putting them there or creating them or anything? Right. Such a simple thing. So, even everything that we've seen on this planet, from the mountain ranges, people like going hiking. They go hiking, yes, this mountain's so good. The picture is so picturesque, it looks so beautiful. But behind the beauty, there is a person, and that person is Krishna, is God. Any of your parents like to answer? Do you like the mandir? Do you like the mandir? Jai. So this is the first thing that we can do, right? In order to develop our relationship with Krishna, to actually be able to connect with Krishna. Okay, we struggle in the heart. I struggle in the heart. So I struggle to see Krishna in the heart. So the least I can do is, whenever I'm looking around me, I can appreciate that Krishna's present. I can appreciate Krishna's energy in the form of whatever it is, whether it's water, the mic, the Bhagavad Gita text, in the shape and form of text, scriptures, phone, materials, people, devotees. I can appreciate Krishna's hand in everything, Krishna's energies. But always remember, as a devotee, as somebody who is practicing a personalist philosophy, that behind this energy is a person, is Krishna. So that's number one. Whenever I look at the phone, it's not that I'm just thinking Samsung Galaxy A51, the phone, is amazing and, it just happened to be. No. Because Samsung Galaxy A51 I find to be a good phone, because I have it, so I'm biased, but because of that, when I look at other Samsung phones, I'll be like, okay, that'll be good as well. Similarly, when we look at water, okay, we like the taste of water. We can appreciate people behind it, the person behind it. Krishna is amazing, and therefore whatever else he has created is amazing as well. So the next thing is that, okay, actually I'm conscious of time. So, anytime, we should make this a habit actually. Every time we open our eyes in the morning, what's the first thing you actually do? What's the first thought that comes to your mind? It's early. Let's go back to bed. But do we appreciate the fact that we were able to open our eyes? No. Do we appreciate the fact that we can see when we open our eyes? No. So that's the first thing that we can do. Make a habit every day. As soon as we open our eyes, appreciate the fact that, I can see. And that is because Krishna has provided us with the light to see. Krishna is the light, but he's also provided us with the light to see. Because without Krishna's sanction, nothing goes. So I will conclude because of time. And so I want to go back to the two original points I mentioned. Does anybody remember them? So the first one is that nobody's seen God, nobody's seen Krishna. So how can we believe that God or Krishna is real? To answer that, we can see everywhere around us that there are objects, whether they're man-made or natural. With man-made objects, we say that a person's behind it. But with natural objects, or natural entities, mountains, etc., wherever it happens to be, water, whatever, it's not logical to devoid a person behind it. And I gave a shloka from the Brahma Samhita before. Pure devotees see Krishna in the heart. I'm struggling to do that, so the least I can do is practice seeing Krishna around me. And the second one, and you remember? Influence of Maya. I left the ashram, influence of Maya. How does it feel to leave the ashram? How do I avoid the influence of Maya? So we already established that Maya is that which is devoid of Krishna. But if I wake up in the morning and try to practice sincerely that Krishna is all around me, the fact that I'm able to open my eyes, the fact that I'm able to see, Krishna is behind it. The fact that I'm able to go to the bathroom in the morning and that the toilet is full of water so that when I flush, all the waste goes away, Krishna is behind that. The fact that I'm able to brush my teeth, the fact that one of the first things I do is drink water in the morning. So the fact that I'm able to drink that water, the taste of water is Krishna himself, but also behind that water is Krishna. Maya is actually a state of consciousness. right? Because if we think about it, we already established that Maya is that which is not spiritual. But then we also established that it depends on how we use it. So even this mic, right? I could decide to use it for spiritual knowledge, or I could decide to use it to, I don't know, sing the next pop star mix, I don't know, whatever goes on these days. But if my consciousness is that, I can use this mic for Krishna service. I can open my eyes and do some service in the day. I can drink water, and that's quenched my thirst. Krishna's behind it. When my whole consciousness is really trying to think of Krishna and really try and bring Krishna into my life, then what's the question of being in Maya, right? So oftentimes, and I'm not revealing names and stuff, but a lot of the people that ask me these are grihastas themselves, They're practicing devotees in the grihastha ashram, and everybody says that actually being in the brahmachari ashram is a lot more conducive to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, in some way it is, because you're living amongst devotees, you've got the association, you've got all this, that, and the other. But even in the ashram, if we're devoid of Krishna in our consciousness, I could be cleaning the floor and just thinking of it as cleaning. I can be singing kirtan and just thinking of a really nice melody and just focusing on the melody, being devoid of Krishna behind the kirtan, Krishna behind the sound in ether, Krishna behind the Mahamantra. I can still do all of that in the ashram. But equally, as grihastas, we can practice seeing Krishna in everything. See Krishna in your children. See Krishna in the morning when we open our eyes. And then what's the question of being in Maya? And the simplest way that Srila Prabhupada's given for us to really try and bring Krishna into everything that we do is just always chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? How does it go, Aryan? Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right? So whatever we do, whatever we're doing in life, whether we're in the bathroom, working, just woken up, we should make it a point to just chant the Mahamantra. It costs nothing, and there's no rules, regulations associated to it. Beadbags is a different story, let's not go there. But at least mentally or just naturally, we can just chant. When you walk into the car, when you're driving, it doesn't cost anything. And that will always help us connect to Krishna. So, I appreciate everybody's time. Apologies for anything that I've said which is incorrect. And I appreciate any feedback, chastisements, questions, if you have any. And I can get the mic. Sorry? I'll answer that afterwards. That's true. So the point here was, just for everybody online as well, that when life is so busy, it's difficult to be grateful and slow down. So how can we, I'm guessing the question is how can we handle that, So two things that come to mind here. One is, what is our life busy for? Is it for Maya, or is it for Krishna? If it's for Krishna, then naturally, whether you're working or doing service, in the differentiation perspective, then we'll always be able to think of Krishna, because actually our reason, our intent behind it is for Krishna's service. Okay, we go to work because we're grihastas, right? You have children to look after, you have family to look after. So when we're working, our consciousness can be like, okay, we're working, we're trying to earn money, but the results of it I'm going to give partially to my family, but partially so that we can cultivate them in Krishna consciousness. And then if we look at Shastras, etc., then it's, 50% of it is meant to be for Krishna and his devotees. 25% for relatives, and 25% for personal emergencies, right? Like savings, basically, right? We can try and as best as we can try and follow that model. How much of that money are we actually using for ourselves versus how much are we using to try and cultivate Krishna consciousness for devotees? And devotees, devotees doesn't just have to mean that you donate to the temple. It can also mean cultivating Krishna consciousness with family, friends, and the general devotee friend circles that we have. So our busy schedule, is that for Maya or is that for Krishna? If it's for Maya, then we need to think of ways that we can try and tune that and direct that towards Krishna. Slowly but surely, Maybe we're going out to the restaurant every week. Okay, I like going to the restaurant. I find it difficult to give it up. The least we can do is go to a Krishna conscious restaurant. Something that helps us serve the devotees, and as well as the food itself will be in a sattvic sort of way, right? Om Nam or Govindas and stuff like that. And the other thing that, it's funny actually, this topic is coming up so much these days that it's actually really nice in a way. There's a sign that something needs to happen here. Is journaling. Do you write a diary? No. Journaling. Do you write a diary at the end of the day? Do you write to your best friend, Krishna? Only for your work. You write a diary for work. No? So that's another way, right? In our busy schedule, we shouldn't be so busy that we don't even have at least 5 minutes to ourselves, right? Oftentimes, actually, I mentioned this point before to another Sangha group that I'm a part of, and one of the devotees afterwards, when I met them in person, they were speaking to me, actually, you know what? I kind of did an exercise afterwards, and actually they found 4 hours in their busy schedule. 4 hours where they're basically doing nothing, right? So what I shared with them is Bhaktivedanta Thakur's schedule. I don't know if you've ever seen it. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur, one of our acharyas, he is a grihasta. His job would be as, I think it was in law. I can't remember if he was a barrister or a judge. And his schedule's online. You can easily find it online, right? There's plenty of schedules going around. To the hour, he's got his schedule mapped out. This time he wakes up. When he wakes up, he's reading for this much, he's writing for this much, then he goes to work, comes back, has some me time with family, with prasadam, bathing, etc., etc., sadhana, service, etc., etc. So one thing that we can do is just, for 5 minutes, tonight, tomorrow, just create a schedule. Just look at what you do. Don't try and change anything. Just look at what you do and really see, okay, are you actually so busy that you don't even have 5 minutes to yourself? Just take 5 minutes out of your schedule just to find 5 minutes every day. This one devotee found 4 hours in their busy schedule. The least we can do is find 5-10 minutes, Yeah, that's where I'm going to go towards. And during those 5 minutes that we find, because we will find those 5 minutes, we should journal. And the aspect of journaling is that we can then introspect. Introspection is really important for all of us as devotees. Oftentimes we can get so busy in, okay, I need to read, I need to chant, I need to do service. But we forget that growth in Krishna consciousness, a big part of that is also introspection. If we think about it, if we want to change, if we want to transform our life, we need to identify where we're at today, where we want to go tomorrow, and the journey. But you can't do that if you don't know where you're at originally. If you want to go home tonight, if you don't know the route, or if you want to go to somebody else's place, the GPS isn't just going to ask you for where your destination is and then give you a journey. It's going to ask, where's your destination and where are you starting from? Introspection helps us identify where we're starting from. And as we write the diary, we can start thinking about, okay, you know what, I'm not happy with where I am today. I want to be over here, you know? But I'm over here. Introspection shouldn't make us go, oh, there's such a big gap, I can never make it. No, introspection should make us think, okay, there's a gap, but how can I bridge it slowly? Like, what did I do today that I want to change tomorrow so I can grow on my journey to get to where I want to be? One of the big things for me is that my dealings with family members weren't very in the mode of goodness, let's put it that way, naturally speaking. And that's something that I really wanted to change. I really wanted to think about, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Like, I'm conscious that after I've said something, I'm conscious that I shouldn't have said that. But in my journal, I can write that, like I said this, but I wasn't happy with it. This is what I should have said. So then the next time when such a situation arises, not only am I conscious of what I had said before the last time, but I'm conscious of what I would have wanted to say if I was in the right mode. Then naturally my speech will slowly but surely improve in that direction. And I'll say from first-hand experience that I've personally felt that. I've had some of the best conversations with my parents in the last week than I have in past forever. That's the power of journaling. That's the power of introspection. Whether we're devotees or non-devotees, whether we're practicing or whether we're pure devotees. Journaling is something we should be doing. Sorry for a long-winded answer, but... Reflections? Anything else? Anything else? Questions, comments, reflections? Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.